Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. I want us to have a look at some developing stories across the country. Gen Z protests are going on very successfully across the country. And more interesting, the protests are also going on as I speak in Rigathi Gachagwa's Madeira constituency. It's very unfortunate that the mainstream media is not showing all that. Citizen TV is missing in action. NTV is trying their best. Standard Digital trying their best. And I'm seeing a very high possibility where the mainstream media is buying into the government's intimidation tactics. But all in all, there are protests across the country. Gen Zs are piling more pressure on William Ruto's government. And the turnout is wonderful. We are also getting some information that William Ruto has swapped Aden Duale with Soipan Tuya. Initially, when William Ruto was naming the first 11 persons as cabinet secretaries, Duale was earmarked as CS Defense, Soipan Tuya was earmarked as CS Environment. Ruto has now swapped them. Duale will go to Environment, Soipan Tuya will go to Defense. And looking on how Kenyans are reacting, it's very clear William Ruto is confused. The most honorable thing for him to do in this moment is just to resign. He is seriously confused. When he was reappointing Duale as the CS Defense and appointing Soipan Tuya CS Environment, did he not do some research? He has so far swapped them. We are going to dig deep into that. And in Nairobi CBD, Gen Zs have taken to the streets of the city in their thousands. In Kitengela, it has been running battles between the police and the protesters. And then that vehicle there has also been paying some money to some goons to cause chaos in the city. It has been established that that vehicle belongs to Mark Ndungu, former Bahati MCA. So it's very clear that this government is sponsoring goons to go and face off with Gen Zs. And some of the goons have found it very rough. Some have lost their lives as I talk. That should be a warning to the goons that a few people, you can't be a group of about 200 or 300, and then you want to face it off with thousands of Kenyans. You cannot succeed. You will most definitely lose your life. And it's unfortunate that about 2 goons have lost their lives today. So to the government, they should stop using goons. Let Kenyans demonstrate peacefully. If the kitchen has become too hot for this government, let it quit and go. Let's put all that into perspective, ladies and gentlemen, for Kenyans to understand what's happening here. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. Let's start with the Aden Duale story. Why has William Ruto swapped Aden Duale with Soipan Tuya? It's clear William Ruto is trying to respond to the pressure coming from Gen Zs. Gen Zs made it very clear that none of the sacked cabinet secretaries be appointed into the cabinet. William Ruto might have misunderstood that to mean they should not be reappointed to hold the dockets they held previously. That's not what Gen Zs are saying. Mr. President, Gen Zs are saying that the sacked cabinet secretaries, none of them should be reappointed into the cabinet. That's what Gen Zs are saying. They are not saying you reshuffle them. I think the message is well sent to Ruto. Don't appoint any of the sacked cabinet secretaries into your cabinet. Sack them, don't reshuffle them. And if you look at that swapping of Duale and Soipan Tuya, it proves how Soipan Tuya is a close Ruto ally. As Kenyans are demanding of Tuya to go, William Ruto is not listening to Kenyans. Soipan Tuya is not listening to Kenyans. In this forum, I did highlight how Kenyans greeted Soipan Tuya. So we were expecting that maybe Soipan Tuya, on her own volition, could decide to reject that cabinet appointment. But instead, she's being given a promotion. Yes. Ruto is not listening to Kenyans. Soipan Tuya is not listening. It's high time Kenyans should greet Tuya again. And even Duale now, because they are letting Kenyans down. And Aden Duale has so far responded to that swapping, which we are going to dissect in our next analysis. If you look at the Gen Z's protest today, they promised they were going to JKIA. We've seen some running battles along Outer Ring Road, Mombasa Road, but it appears Gen Z's played psychological games with the government. All the police officers, most of them, were sent to JKIA. And that gave Gen Z's a wonderful opportunity to storm the CBD. And today's the CBD, as I talk, is all Gen Zs protesting very peacefully. A confirmation that Gen Zs are very smart, They are trying to avoid open confrontations with this rogue government. The government is clearly coming out as rogue. Gen Zs are just exercising their democratically given rights to peaceful protests. So upon realizing that the government was to unleash unnecessary terror at JKIA, they decided to storm the CBD. And they have still passed their message, William Ruto must go. So it's either William Ruto to listen to them or not. But the message has been sent clear in broad daylight, Ruto must go. And again, if you look at the goons, I believe this is a rogue government, a moribund government, a government nearing its collapse. The moment you see the government unleashing goons on its own people, that's a confirmation that the government has lost it. Yes, it's just counting its days. It has failed to deliver, it has failed to read the moods of its people. That's why it's resorting to goons. In countries where they've had successful revolutions, all these tactics Ruto is using today in Kenya were used in those other countries. But still, the people won. My only appeal to the Gen Z is continue pushing. God is on our side and God will give us victory. Continue pushing. And more Kenyans should now join in these demonstrations. We cannot have a rogue government, a government unleashing goons on its own people. And we are also being told that some of the unleashed goons decided to loot in the CBD. And they were given some Buru Kenge beatings. So is the government unleashing goons to go loot? All those styles and strategies will obviously fail, and already they are failing. Let me stop it there for now, ladies and gentlemen. We are still working on a detailed analysis on the protests. So stay tuned by subscribing. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.